Hello, and welcome to this week's Talkback with Zack. In recent talkbacks, I've spoken with Lauren Berman about the Leslie family preschool at the OFJCC. I've spoken to Josh Steinharder about the Maccabi Sports Camp, and I've talked to Maddie Chaliff and Monique Schulter about our Justice, Equity, and Diversity initiative. Today, I'm so thrilled to have with us our fundraiser extraordinaire, the person behind the department that keeps the lights on here at the Oshman Family JCC. The person behind the pink and purple beard, our Chief Development Officer, Seth Leslie. Welcome here, Seth.
Thank you, Zach. It's great to be here.
And it's great to have you here with your beard. It's natural color. And although you always look great, you obviously have really cleaned up today, whereas I'm wearing this shoulder brace. As you can see, I'm just recovering from shoulder surgery. So if the painkillers force me to say something inappropriate, you'll understand why. But great to have you here, Seth.
Pleasure.
Look, you and I go way, way back. We were buddies. We were friends. Our families were friends. Our kids were friends long before we were colleagues. And maybe you could share a little bit about the story of how our friendship turned from one where we became colleagues, where you were a lay leader who was doing some incredible work in the community, fundraising for some wonderful institutions like the Gideon Hausner Jewish Day School, to becoming a professional staff fundraiser for the Oshman Family JCC.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had a first career in education. I was a high school math teacher and assistant principal. And in about 2010, I decided to shift gears. I had a 7, 5, and 3-year-old at the time, and was feeling pretty full with family. So I took a little time, went back to school, tried a few things. And in the interim, during that period, I got into fundraising, just sort of fell into it as a board member at the Gideon Hausner Jewish Day School. They put me on the development committee. I said, "What's the development committee do?" And before I knew it, I was asking people for money, and found that actually kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Fast forward to 2014, and I was I guess you could say a fly on the wall with the inner workings of the JCC, because my wife Sharon was the board president and working very closely with you on lots of transition at the time. You had just come in pretty recently yourself, and I said, "Hey, why don't you bring home the development jobs?" I'd been aware that there was an interest in filling some open positions there for some time, and seen a few people come through the process, and the job remain open. And so I decided to be sly, and I sent you a text and said, "Zach, I got an issue with the towels. We need to talk in the gym." And
That's right. Your
Sharon,
issue with the towels.
That's right. Yeah. And I think Sharon gave me up and gave you the heads up, but I came in my gym clothes anyways, because with my wife, the president of the board, and my family being supporters, I felt like there's a decent opportunity that this is just too noisy, too messy for you to look at seriously. And I didn't want to make any trouble. So, to my surprise and delight, you were open to a conversation, and we had a nice chat. Me in my gym shorts, you in your professional attire. 14 interviews later, I think it was, I'm employed at the JCC, and that was November 2014. I took this role, and it's been a pleasure ever since.
It's been great having you. I think all 14 of those interviews and the closed-toed shoes that you put on to go through them all paid off, Seth.
I think so. Yeah.
No, really, you've been a tremendous member of the team. I can honestly say we wouldn't have been able to get through this past 12 months without you. The development department always plays a vital role at the Oshman Family JCC. But this past year in particular, it has played the most crucial role. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how the development team fits into the landscape of the Oshman Family JCC in general, and then we could talk about over the last 12 months what it's done.
Yeah, so I think I'll start by saying that most people probably know, not everybody, I'm sure, but a lot of people know that JCCs don't make as much money as they spend based on the typical business model. By nature, by design, we intend to fundraise from the community, primarily so that we can keep the cost of participation low, and with the goal of being accessible to everybody. The JCC is a place for everybody, and if we charge for everything, then that makes the JCC inaccessible for some folks. So what I always tell the team is, when you do your jobs, my job is easy, and it's true. When people do great work, when our programmers put on great programs, when people are happy, when they feel safe, when they feel comfortable, when they're finding meaning and relevance and joy, making new friends, it's easy to go out and ask folks to support our work. And we've been super fortunate to have a tremendous amount of support from the entire community. Annual gifts range from $18 or less to $2 million. So we have folks from all across the spectrum who support us, and every one of those gifts makes a difference. We wouldn't be where we are without the community behind us. And it's really a pleasure to be able to talk to folks who have resources and work with them to create opportunities, not only for them to do something meaningful, but to allow everyone to participate in the community. So that's what we do. We help people find meaning. We help folks with resources find a good use for those resources to do something that makes them feel like they're making a difference.
That's awesome. That's great. And this year, as I said before, has been one of the most important for those folks who are looking to put their resources to good use, right? You had an interview with the J recently where you talked about how the last 12 months has been unimaginable for all the JCCs, but in particular our JCC, because you talked about how 85% of our operating revenue has dried up. It wasn't partially gone, it was all gone. Fortunately, a few of our programs have been able to return, but nothing at the levels pre-pandemic. But the ability for you and your team to come through and fill those gaps has been instrumental, Seth. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what this past year has been like.
Yeah, I think that the main thing I've taken away from this past year is that it pays off to spend time with people and to cultivate relationships and to build trust. And I'm not talking about, the 6 years or so I've been at the J, or the 7 years or so, 7+ you've been at the J. Though that's not inconsequential, but the J's been in the community since the 60s. And we have folks who have grandchildren at the preschool who support the J. So I think, the biggest thing is the J has been a solid, reliable, predictable institution for a long, long time. We have a core set of values around being a safe place, being a place for everyone, being a Jewish space. And I think those values, in particular, and the consistency around those values, has generated a massive amount of support for the J. And at a time when the J was in need, kind of a once in a lifetime event with the global pandemic, people just really came through from all over the place and stepped up. We had just had our big fundraiser last February and raised a record amount of money. And the idea that we were going to have to go out and raise more money after that and go back to people after that was a challenging idea to swallow at the time. But it became clear that we didn't really have much choice, and we needed to reach out and talk to folks. We were fortunate to have a variety of opportunities for people to participate. Many folks, as I said, had just given. We were able to create space for those people to reallocate their gifts. Some folks had pledges on the books that they planned to pay us down the road. We asked them to pay earlier. So it wasn't even the case that people needed to write a new check and they could help. So just creating opportunities for people to give in different ways really made a difference. The other big thing that happened is that we had a lot of folks who donated fees, gym membership fees, camp fees, preschool tuition, generated a ton of new donors, probably 500 new donors last year, just through the opportunity to donate fees. So I think that the big story is that we are super fortunate to be here in the Valley with a very dedicated, generous community that in our time of greatest need stepped up and helped us through it and continues to do so.
I think that you said something really important, Seth, that it's about the relationships, right? And it's about the years that have gone into people investing in us because they care about us, they care about the institution, they care about the impact that they can make in the community, they care about changing people's lives. And that's what the Oshman Family JCC has done. Now, one of the things that you do year after year is you show off what we've been able to do every year. You help raise money for our scholarship funds, our Fund a Need program, and you do that with our annual benefit. But I know that this year, the benefit's going to look a lot different, Seth. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what it's going to look like this year.
Absolutely. The benefit is going to look a lot different this year. My first thought was, let's cancel the benefit. Let's take a year off. It's crazy here. Let's take a year off. Let's spend some time reflecting on what we've done over the last 6 years, and let's reinvent ourselves. And the immediate response from the community was, no, you have to do the benefit. Okay, so I grieved for a couple of days, and then shifted my attitude and decided, what an amazing opportunity. We get to do a virtual benefit, and the opportunity is that the constraints of time and space are gone. They're gone. And what that means in practical terms is that instead of having a tent with 470 people, which was a record crowd for us last year, we can have anybody come to this event. So first and foremost, the event is free. Anybody who wants to join us on April 18th from 8 to 9 p.m. is welcome to, and you can do it from your home. And this is actually our first pants optional benefit we've ever had.
Pants optional. I love that. That's going to be the
pants
tagline.
Optional. Yeah, so we're very excited about all the changes. We've got a really, really great program we put in place. Our goal is to entertain. We want to provide a little light in what's been a relatively dark year. We have a great variety show type of program lined up with a bunch of talent. And we're also going to tell a few stories about the impact of the J. We want to make sure that folks who tune in understand, number one, the breadth of programs. There's a lot of folks who participate in a single program at the J, don't even know what else we do. So it's a great opportunity for us to show off what we do. And then the second thing is, to your earlier point, to really be able to show off to folks how we make a difference, how we impact lives. So we have a number of stories we're going to tell. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we are very sensitive to the reality that there's a lot of folks out there, a lot of you people who may be tuning into this are a little zoomed out and a little tired of virtual events. And the planning is very much focused on that reality. So we do not intend to waste your time. April 18th, www.paloaltojcc.org/gathering21. Tune in.
Gathering 21. I love that hashtag. And why'd you choose that one in particular, Seth?
Well, we chose the theme of gathering because that's what we do. That's what we do at the J. We gather. We're a community, and we felt that, in this year of all years, gathering has become kind of a premium experience. A lot of folks have been unable to gather, whether it's for travel restrictions or whether it's for health risk or county guidelines. Gathering has been hard. So we said, you know what, we're gonna do everything we can to gather, whether it's virtually. We have a gathering in spirit theme, so folks who aren't comfortable gathering can tune in and watch from home, just with their families. And then we have some folks who are gathering in small groups in their homes, in their backyards. We're trying to manage expectations around health. Our first priority is making sure people stay safe, but folks are getting vaccinated, and case rates are declining. I think all the news is moving in the right direction, so we're optimistic that folks can get together in small groups. So gathering, that's what we do, and we want to kick off the end of the pandemic with a little fun on April 18th. I think the timing is good.
Can you give us a sense for which folks are going to be there, star power wise? Are you ready to give a reveal on who that's going to be, or not quite yet?
I'm open to a little reveal. We have a Broadway singer who those of you who pay close attention to the JCC might be familiar with. That's Shoshana Bean. She's going to be doing a number for us. We have Ken Jeong, who is probably best known for his roles in The Hangover and Crazy Rich Asians. And most recently, he's been a panelist on The Masked Singer and is now hosting another similar program called I Can See Your Voice. I should add that this is now the Oscar-nominated Ken Jeong as of a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
We have a singer-songwriter in the Bob Dylan genre. John Craigie is his name. He's actually going to be performing live for us, and I'm really excited about him joining us for this program. He's got a great style and a really, really positive vibe. And then we've got Abigail and Sean Bankston. And if you've heard the Keep Going On song, you know Abigail and Sean. And if you haven't, you should listen to it. It's a really lovely song that I think inspires a lot of hope during what was a challenging time for lots of folks. So that's what we have right now. And then, of course, we have the JCC community. Those are the real stars. So we got a lot of folks in our community who are our staff, some of our lay leaders, some of the kids in our programming. It's going to be a very full hour with a lot of faces, some familiar, some not, but it should be a lot of fun.
Seth, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal event, a lot of fun. Now, maybe one last question for those folks who are interested in helping the JCC and they really want to make sure their dollars are going to change a life, to really have that impact. Maybe you can share with us a story, Seth, about how those dollars have gone to help impact someone's lives.
Yeah. Thanks, Zach. I'm going to share my own story and use it as an analog for impact. My parents came to the Bay Area in the mid 70s with two young children, a toddler and an infant. Didn't know anybody, and they settled in. My dad trying to make his way in the Valley as a young professional. My mom trying to raise two boys and figure things out far away from family. They'd never lived more than 15 minutes away from family before that. My mom looked in the yellow pages and she found the Peninsula Jewish Community Center, which was in Belmont at the time. And that was our life. We were in preschool there. We were in camp there. We were at the pool every summer. And my parents' best friends are folks they met at the PJCC. And I tell that story because I think that story is the story of the JCC. We have folks just like then today coming from all over the world. We have a lot of folks from Israel. We have folks from Russia. We have folks from everywhere. A lot of folks from other parts of the country who come to the Bay Area for career opportunities. Some of them are in a position to pay for programs. Many of them are not. We have a robust scholarship fund. We raised over $1 million last year to support families. And it's that fund that allows families to participate in our community and generate the kinds of connections and relationships that my family was fortunate enough to generate a generation ago. So I think that supporting the J, it really is a transformational opportunity. If you want to make a difference for folks, you want to allow people to feel safe and supported in times of tragedy and times of celebration. It's the J that's there for people who don't have their biological family around. The J is their adopted family.
Seth, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. Thank you for pouring your heart and soul into the Oshman Family Jewish Community Center. Without you and your outstanding work, without your team, I know that the JCC would not be able to be here today to be that resource for so many. We are the family for so many members of the greater Palo Alto Jewish community. And that's a testament to you and your team and the hard work that you do every single day. So thank you for joining us, Seth. Thank you to all of you who've joined us today for watching. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the Oshman Family JCC, you can go onto our website. You can go onto the hashtag that Seth mentioned to come to the benefit. And I look forward to seeing you all again here next week. Take care. Thanks.
And if you want to make a gift right now, you can text Gathering 21 to 41444.
Always doing your work, always doing your job. Thanks, Seth. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.